All right. Hello, everyone. It is Monday, June the 16th, and we are live for another episode of Accelerating Your Journey. This is a consciousness ascending production. My name is Benny Ferguson. I channel the non physical collective known as Abraham, and we are excited to be here. We're excited to be of support, not just to be of support, but to empower you in accelerating the process of your growth and expansion, accelerating your ability to remember, rediscover the truth of you in source that is free of fear, that you might be able to live your life, able to act on your inspirations, free of hesitation, understanding the truth of who you are, understanding your responsibility in the creative process, and the ability to align yourself with your intentions. And then from there, allow the creative process to unfold in the most perfect fashion with a knowing, not a wonder, not a question, not a hope, not faith, but with knowing. Knowing, knowing. We are thankful for each of you that are here and will be here, that will support us in the development of this interaction with your energies. We're thankful for each of you who have found this recording, this replay as well. If you are new, be sure to subscribe. If you find value, if you're inspired, right? Be sure to subscribe, connect, check the description for other ways that you can connect with us and become a part of the community and that which is our mission for you and the rest of humanity. We have our conscious discussions, which are live conversations via Zoom. You can register at that by following the link and getting the Zoom information. We have private sessions where the investment for those sessions is what you deem the value is based on the value which you are inspired to, based on the value that you receive. That's what the investment for those sessions are. You will come to that after the session is over. Whatever you are inspired to is perfect and right for you and for us. And then we have the private community, which is the our all-inclusive offer, which offers the resources needed, the knowledge, the understand needed, the support, the consistent support needed to truly accelerate the process. Our members, little over a year now, most of them, and they all have seen dramatic growth and expansion that stems from the consistent contact, support, and play and practice on their part. We're excited for them tremendously, and we're excited for you. So let's talk today. Topic is the measure of a being who is human. Experience proves the truth of the content. Experience proves the truth of the contents. You guys already know where we're going. Experience proves the truth of the contents. That which appears in front of you reveals what is inside. And there is no way around it, right? There's no good and bad in it. It's just what it is. It's just the truth, right? And that we understand in the initial can be scary. We understand in the initial that level of responsibility can be maybe subtly disheartening, maybe even frustrating. We hear these things, and you've heard these things. You maybe have felt these things. I would never choose that. Why would I choose that? It can't be right. I would never choose that level of pain and that level of sorrow and that level of suffering. I would never do that. So that can't be right. You're telling me that I created this. And if that's your stance, what you're saying is, I choose not to believe how powerful I am. I choose not to take that level of responsibility for my life, which ultimately is empowering and not disempowering. And you're also refusing to test. You're refusing to test the waters, to stick your toe in the waters and to see if it's actually possible that you are influencing by any measure, even the slightest bit, what is appearing in front of you. You're denying all of those things if you take that stance firmly. And we've never asked you to believe what we say. It's about the practice of what we say. If it's garbage, it's garbage. If it's not, wow, then how powerful are you? And if any of it's true, then what can't you create? Forget about creating something that you've never created before. What can't you change about your life? What can't you change? So, what are the contents right now? What is your experience exposing about you right now? We'll tell you most of what your experience is exposing right now about you is what you have been conditioned to by your parents, by those closest to you, in reference to events that happened to you when you're a child that are still living inside of you, the drama, the trauma, the beauty, the love, the joy that was present in your home, the frustration, the anger that was present in your home, the extremities of it, and the measure of it anywhere in between is what is guiding you at this moment. You have dominant ideas within based on these experiences, based on the energies that you were present in. They have conditioned your body to a certain position. They have conditioned your body to a certain level of vibrational expression. How? Because the body's consistent interaction with certain types of energy fields, energy expressions, those energies create certain type, have tagged with them certain types of feelings that they cause the body to express. Those feelings result in connecting you with certain with thoughts that are aligned with those feelings, referencing back to the frequency. The frequencies are the start. The feelings result from the frequencies, the feelings within the body. Those feelings yield and connect you with certain thought patterns based on those frequencies. And those thought patterns are sourced by certain dominant ideas, which eventually reveal themselves and begin to make their way as an establishment into your individual being. And once the thoughts establish themselves as ideas, dominant ideas, they begin to operate independently with their own life, expressing themselves through you. And this is the process for every individual. Again, to the degree of the types of vibrations and frequencies that they were privy to as a child, growing up in those formative years. The type of relationship, the feel and flow of relationship, the experience of abundance, an absence, the an abundance of wealth, or an abundance of lack and scarcity. Your health and well being, the beliefs that you were conditioned to around health and well being. And we're not just talking about the foods and the things that you ingest, we're talking about how you feel about yourself and how those ideas affect the body. And then from there, we get into more subjective, unseen ideas like your self value position, your self worth position, which tend to be the most powerful of the ideas because they undergird everything. They undergird everything. We have entrepreneur clients who are specific to working on their business. We have CEO clients who are specific to working in their job arenas. And a large part of the support that we give them is in the development, expanding, broadening of their self value position. It's not about skill set of which they have. It's not about knowledge and understanding of their position and the activities that they are responsible for, which they have. It's about their ability to trust themselves personally, trust their intuition, act on their intuition, and coupled with the knowledge and understanding and the experience that they have with great fire, free of fear. And even though they have reached levels of what you might call success, they still know and feel the squeeze, the compression, the constriction within the body that lets them know that they're not breathing their truth fully. They're not breathing the truth of themselves, and they are not quickly moving into the magnitude of impact that they could have in their inspired endeavors. The hesitation stems from fear that's related to the value position, the self worth position, the conditioning of consideration of external forces that they're coming to find out and accept in their expanded awareness that are effects of creation, not causes of creation. And the more they have accepted these ideas and turned their awareness inward selfishly, aware of their own expressions and what is desiring to be birthed through them, the more powerful they are becoming. The more easier they are able to breathe their truth, their chosen dominant ideas that are in alignment with their intentions in their individual endeavors. But the contents, experience proves the contents. So ask the question, what is your experience? What has your experience been? Is it beautiful with consistency? Is it scary with consistency? Because see, many make the mistake of under not seeing that the pain that they experience in their life, the frustration they experience in their life, the stressors that appear that are called stressors or that create stress for them in their life. When you trace them back to their roots, they're all rooted in some type of fear. Some type of fear. And sometimes you have to really work your way back to find it. But it starts with an awareness that this experience is a reflection of me. And that which is appearing in front of me is a collaborative component to something I'm expressing. Something is there that connected me with the experience. Something is there that has resulted in the people and the things and the animals and the trees and the cars all showing up at this perfect moment to make me feel loved or to make me feel disrespected. And understanding this, again, is not good, bad, right, wrong. Once you get past the first wave of, It's incredibly empowering because now you have the keys. Now you have the keys to understanding. Now you have the keys to expanded awareness. Now you have the keys to transformation of all of the things that you would like to experience in a different fashion in your life. And then once you begin to address those, once you begin to accumulate tools to address the ideas within your mind. You begin to accumulate tools to that support you in elevating your vibrational expression. And you begin to be more and more consistent in your practice of catching undesired thought patterns, cutting away at those ideas at their core, playing in higher vibration, understanding that the more you play in higher vibration, the more you are conditioning the body to that. But that you have to create momentum in all of these things so that it goes from something that you are doing to who you are being. This is what I do. I am a release machine. I am a idea sowing machine. Ideas that are in alignment with my intentions. I am constantly expanding my awareness, my ability to see and perceive the truth around me, manifesting that which I am intending and that which source is intended. I can see it now. And understand that these things occur through a progression. It's not often that, boom, all at once, you know everything. That's never happened. It's true that some come into life on your plane of existence with a higher level of understanding from the start, but they're still on the path of growth and expansion. And there's still a progression to their learning, to their unfolding, even though they may start ahead of some or ahead of most, depending on who the individual is and what they came to do. If they came with specific intentions, there are those who are appearing on your planet now with specific intentions to be of support to the human race. There are those who are appearing on your plane of existence now, being born to your plane of existence now, who are not doing the what are we trying to say? Who are not playing around in polarity as much as others are. They have a clear and specific mission of which they begin the process of placing into form and operation very, very early because of the place that humanity is in and because of their specific intentional intended goal to be of support. They are being born already in motion. Children being born who are channeling, children who are born who are already of an extremely expanded awareness, who are already communicating the truth from a very young age. But each of you who are finding this type information, participating in these type sessions, are on that same path as well. Now, you may not be one who is going to be speaking around the world and all of those things, but you can be powerful in your home. You can be powerful as you walk through the stores, as you shop for your groceries. You can be powerful in your jobs or your careers, resonating at a very high clip, affecting, influencing powerfully and positively everyone who comes into your sphere of energy expression, having no less of impact on your world than those who we mentioned a moment ago. No less. No less. And that's what we're here to support you in at a more accelerated rate, accomplishing a level of understanding, a level of realization that allows you, once again, to breathe your intentions freely and to be able to act on your inspirations without hesitation. There is a you, the truth of you in source, that is free of fear. And while it would be beautiful for you to be able to be that level of expression now as you walk physically, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Many of you have had glimpses of that. Benny has had multiple glimpses of that, which is why it's a huge carrot dangling in front of him, and he's ever increasing in momentum toward that, having had glimpses of the presence of beauty and peace, the vibration of beauty and peace this weekend, walking through a farmer's market. He could feel, he could feel the field of beauty and connection and peace amongst the people that were there at that moment, engaging in the farmer's market idea. It wasn't a consistent thing. He went in and out of it, but he could feel it. And it was very similar to the times that he experienced the truth of himself in source. The first time, all fear whisked off of him like a mist, and it scared him. The second time, it happened and it kind of lingered for about 20 minutes, and he could feel what it feels like to be free of fear, to be free to be, do, and have in accordance to one's intentions. Able to take that deep breath, no hesitation, no fear, no doubt, no worry, no self concern, no thought of opinions or any of those things. Most of you are yearning for that feeling, that and that the ability to live life that way, and you don't even know it. But it's the truth of you trying to speak. It's the truth of you trying to be born. But there's a lot of stuff in between the full free expression of the truth of you. There's conditioning and programming in between that full free expression. But the more you chip away at your programming, the more you chip away at your resistance, and it's critical that you do it with a level of consistency. You begin to see flashes of the truth. You begin to get glimpses of what has always been there, of what has always been there. That's the tricky point. That's the tricky point, is that when we're trying to communicate with people experiences, states of being that are present and have always been present, just clouded by their conditioning. And because they're unaware, they can't see, they're slow to act. They're slow to make a decision, even though their intention is saying, and their body is saying, this feels right. This feels right. But the mind is saying, we really don't understand. We kind of don't understand. Don't know if it's true or not. It is not really going to have that great of an impact on your life. Nothing's really going to change all that much. Just keep doing what you're doing. Not realizing the difference 6 months, a year can make in one's life experience versus trotting along, trying to figure things out by themselves. And the next thing you know, it's been a lifetime. You're seeking the truth of you in source, if you didn't know. Right now, not when you transition, but right now. That's the reason for all of this. That's the reason for your understanding resistance and inner conflict. It's the reason for playing and practicing with expanding your awareness, increasing your vibration, and being consistent at it so that the truth of a higher frequency can make their way to you. It only happens if you're consistent. That's the reason for all of this. Is that you get to know the truth of you in source now so that you can begin to live from that space, so that you can begin to be from that state of being in all of the ways and the areas of your life that you're inspired to. That's the reason for all of this stuff. And there is a way to accelerate the process. That's what you need to know. And when you decide to make it a priority, we're here. So, what we will do now is we will open this deal up to any questions or comments or any inspirations that you have had during this interaction. If you're inspired to, throw them in the chat and we'll spend some time discussing those. Thank you very much. Yeah, trust is a thing. Trust is a thing until you don't need to trust. It's a thought of Benny's. Trust is a thing until you don't need to trust. That is also something that everyone needs to understand. This is where the idea of faith comes from. Faith is only relevant until you have proven to yourself the operations of the integrative process. Faith is only relevant when you have proven to yourself through cataloging happenings in your experience that you know you initiated. And this is a suggestion. Keep a notebook. Initiate thoughts that initiate thoughts of ideas that you have never considered, right? Things that you are not familiar with in your experience. Initiate those thoughts and then keep track, keep note of when the idea actually materializes as experience. Benny has done exotic cars, right? Cars that you don't normally see, very, 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 very expensive cars that you don't normally see just riding around in your daily life. Took a few weeks, but then one passed him in a neighboring city as he walked through the parking lot of a movie theater. And then a few days later, he saw another and another. And it's because of the attention that he was given to that idea. It had gained momentum to the point where he started coming in contact in his personal experience with this type of vehicle that he had never seen before in his walking experience. And now he's seen three. And he took note of, he initiated the thought and given the attention to the idea himself and on purpose. And after you do this for a number of months, a year, and you have this huge list of, I initiated this thought about this thing and it appeared on this day. I initiated this thought about this thing and it appeared on this day. After you've done that for a period of time, you're going to get to the point where it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. And you may be frustrated with you. You may be angry when you stomp your foot and say, okay, this is not a coincidence. I have done this over and over and over and over again. I've initiated thoughts of the weirdest things, things that I know I haven't seen in my experience. I've only seen in books or I've only seen online. And they have shown up in my personal experience. After you've done it enough and it really sits in your being as an idea that this is not experience. I am initiating thoughts. and they are manifesting as experience. Then you take that resolve and that level of strength and that idea and you begin to turn it to things in your life that you want to transform while you have in your back, at your back, I have been doing this. I have been doing this. I have initiated these thoughts, these ideas, and these things have manifest. I've got a whole list of them. So now, when I turn it toward my finances, now when I turn it toward my relationships, now when I turn it toward my needing a car, now when I turn it toward my wanting to purchase a home, now when I turn it toward a new job or career, yes, there's still some hesitation there. Yes, there's still some belief there, but you also have these ideas of which you have proven to yourself. And so you're using that as fuel in contrast to the hesitation that may be present in these life affecting areas to continue to build the strength, continue to build the muscle. No, I have done it over here. So what do I need to do? Okay, what is the process? Okay, be in alignment, be intentional, get clear, but stay broad. If the details begin to cast me out of alignment, span out broader. Don't get into the details. Stay broad and stay in the feeling of the thing. That's basically what I did. I really didn't have any intention of purchasing a $350,000 car. I had no intention of that, but it was about, can I manifest this thing? Can I bring this thing into my reality? Well, if I did that, then I should be able to create the job that I'm looking for. I should be able to create the relationship that I'm looking for. But then the hesitation shows up, the fear shows up because it's so important to you and it shouldn't be. But because your mind, you want to make it important. Now that's resistance. Now you're feeling fear. Where over here, where something that was inconsequential, you wasn't offering any resistance to it. There was no fear there. It was, hey, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It doesn't bother me at all. And it happened just for that reason, because you didn't offer any resistance to it. You didn't really care. And yet you were still giving it your attention. You weren't in conflict with it showing up because you didn't care whether it did or not. And that's why it did. And it happened multiple times because of the momentum that it created on its own because you didn't really care. And now when you point it towards your relationships or you point it toward an abundance of money, you got to figure out how to do the exact same thing. You got to figure out how to not care about something that's so important to your survival. Perceived importance, has a perceived importance to your survival. Because see, money is a human construct. It's not really real. The only reason you feel like it's necessary is because you've been conditioned for it to be necessary. And when you believe that money is necessary, then you sow that idea into the integrative process, which makes money a medium, a believed in medium to the ownership of an intention. When the truth is, people get gifted houses all the time. People get gifted cars or win cars all the time and don't have to come out of pocket at all. Think about that. When you inject the idea of money being necessary for a manifestation to occur, then money is necessary for the manifestation to occur. If you never inject the idea of money being necessary for the manifestation to occur, then that allows the manifestation to occur in whatever way is highest and best. If money is required, the money will be present. If money is not required, then it's not resisting or it's not in conflict with the materialization. You're not in conflict with it because you never introduced or sowed the idea of money being a necessary middle ground for the manifestation. Think about it. When you think about a car, you think about a home, or you think about an outfit, or you're thinking about something that you want, you immediately think about how much it costs. because it's at a store, it's at a dealership, or somebody's going to want money for it. All of it, you immediately think about how it's going to cost, and so you immediately sold the idea of money as an in between you and the thing. But the truth is, you've been conditioned to do that. It's not true. It's not something that's true in source. It's not something that's true. There is no in between. There is no in between the idea of a squirrel and its food being provided purely of source. Think about that. What animal steps out of its nest or out of its cave or out of its home and is required or believes in an intermediary idea between it and anything that it needs for its life? Nothing. No plant, no flower, no animal. And yet it's all provided for in abundance, in excess. Nothing is in lack and scarcity unless it's in a region or somewhere where humanity has affected. But if you look outside your own homes, most likely all of the animals have an abundance of what they need. And there's no intermediary in between them and what they need. Food sources, water sources, resources to for shelter. There's nothing in between them. And if you could release the idea of the need for money, no good, bad, right, wrong again in that circumstance, but release the idea of the need for money, that frees you up to be open to the most perfect materialization of an intention. You would find more and more reason, more and more opportunities to perceive that the money idea was not necessary for the manifestation of a thing, of a thing. We'd be willing to bet that each of you have desired to go to a favorite restaurant. And at some point in your adult life, you have been gifted that restaurant. You have been taken to that restaurant and didn't have to pay. That materialization squeaked in. But most of the time, you have been accepting of the need for the in between exchange of money in order to have the intention. And you've had intentions, and because of the belief in that in between, if you don't haven't felt like you had it, you immediately were cast into low vibration, out of alignment with the thing, and wasn't able to manifest it because money was in between you and the thing. And money's never been true. It's never been a truth. It's only a truth if you believe in its requirement. We'll let you guys play with that for a while. If you have questions, ask questions the next time or bring it up in the conscious discussions. That would be a perfect place where we can actually have conversation and not dilly dally through the chat. Any questions? Any comments? Any thoughts before we close on this day? Okay. So we are thankful, grateful, extremely excited for those of you who have participated with your energies on this day. We are thankful for those of you who have found this this recording, this replay, and allowed us to be a measure of support. If you are inspired, we would love to see you in our conscious discussions to interact with you in a private session or and or become a member of the accelerator and dramatically speed up your process of growth and expansion for a very small investment. We thank you. We love you. And this live had the wrong time. We were putting a lot of things together, and it had 7 o'clock instead of 12. We will be back tomorrow at 12. Conscious discussion is at 12 on Wednesday, and then we will be back for live here on Thursday and Friday. Friday for sure. Friday for sure. Maybe Thursday, but it'll be on the YouTube page uh, or not. But tomorrow for sure and Friday for sure at 12 for this type discussion. If you're inspired, again, we love you very much and we will talk to you soon.